Yay, day 2.
I'm well, how are you?
Let's mute each other, please.
I'm first one
Today's
in.
day 2 of the live.
Have to jump in and out all the time.
Hi, VIPers. Can you please mute? Please mute. Hi, VIPers. Please mute. We can't have VIPs talking because they can hear that. Okay, so please mute each other. Okay, thank you. So good to see you guys. We are back for day 2. And I'm going to turn the camera on and my video on and audio on. Good to see you guys. All right. So it is day 2. And today is absolute fire. Today is absolute fire. First of all, I want to apologize for all the emails that went out yesterday. We had a gremlin inside our Infusionsoft. And this always happens when you're trying to serve people deeply. Something initially wants to try to rattle you. So that's what happened. You probably got 20 replay emails by the end of the night. I am so sorry about that, but there was nothing I could do other than laugh and hope you're laughing about it too, because it was a powerful day yesterday. So I have my VIPers coming in the room right now. Good to see you guys today. Make sure you stay muted while we're live, and then we will do our VIP tomorrow. Or after the call, I can see everyone there and I can see your chat. So that is really awesome. All right, as you're jumping in the room on Facebook and in YouTube and in the Unleash Entrepreneur Facebook group, we have serious fire for you today. All right, so I'm going to pull this up because please, hey, Kathy, real quick, I need you as the host to go up to in Zoom, click meeting and say mute all participants. And then you're going to need to give me, because people are coming in and they're turning on their audios. So you need to mute everybody when they come in, if you could, please, in the VIP room. That was set up, but for some reason it got changed. All right. So fun on the housekeeping. All right. So here's what I want to dive into today. You yesterday were on fire. Yesterday, we learned about the blocks to going fast, the blocks to speed. We talked about blind spots. We talked about obstacles. We talked about environment, old environment and the new environment, right? And we talked about the new economy and how it used to work where you would work hard, set your goals, work hard, and that would equal success. Right? But now we're in a different economy, even a different economy than 2 years ago. And the economy now is based on speed. And so we're using old broken methods and ways to create, set, and achieve goals instead of coming over here and using what actually creates accomplishment. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I know you're very excited about learning the steps of the 67-day method. The one question I keep getting is, Shannon, really? 67 days, a year's worth of goals? Come on, really? So I want to tell you a little story about that. When I discovered this element of speed when it comes to not focusing on what I want, but focusing on what I want to create from a place that it's already been. And a lot of you did declarations yesterday, right? I think we had over 35 people do declarations. 35 people did declarations. And I'm going to announce a winner. We chose a winner at random. $50 is coming your way via an Amazon gift card. Because why? Everybody knows that I love rewarding fast action takers. People who are doing things scared. People who are stepping across that line and saying, you know what? I will train my brain to allow success instead of doing what always used to work and hoping something shifts, right? So in the chat, I want to hear from you as I'm starting to tell you my story about how I literally tripped into this idea of 67-day year. I would love to hear in the chat, what was the one thing yesterday that you were like, I now know something that I didn't know before, like an aha or something that really like made you start to think differently. Even when you did your declaration, I want to see in the chat, what came up for you? Like, what was your aha moment yesterday? And even this morning, for those of you who did the declaration, I'd love to hear in the chat, what shifted for you and any wins or big stories around yesterday and how you moved it. how things shifted, even from coming over here and just telling yourself, this is who I am, right? So, and remember, if you haven't given StreamYard permission, put your name at the back so that I know who I'm talking to, because I hate anonymously saying things. I want to know who's talking to me. But in Facebook, being a lone wolf does not allow you to see your blind spots. So big. Over here in VIP, and I want to brag on my VIPers here in a second. Your brain needs to believe it before you will see it, and you need to train your brain to allow success. And Anita talked about speaking in the present tense, not coming from I want, which is future, but coming from the present. I am. This is what I am going to do. Speaking in the present tense. And then you also talked about it's only me holding me back from owning my 7-figure business. Yes. And you didn't learn it in elementary school. You didn't learn it in high school, right? You learned to ask for permission. You learn the outside indoctrination of how you are supposed to receive, and you stopped trusting your intuition. And that, I hope out of anything yesterday, you were able to say, I can value my intuition because you made a declaration that nobody else told you what it needed to be. And you knew, right? You knew. And I love it that Priscilla says she's taking action today. That is really awesome. All right. So we talked about environment. Environment's big. Declaring is big. And staying in the declaration is even bigger. So I want to ask a question. VIPers, I asked you to do something even bigger yesterday. I asked you to go, actually I asked all of you to go and tell somebody else. So you went into the group and you did your declaration, but I asked some of you to go and to tell someone else. So I'd love to know in the chat who did that and what happened. Who did that and what happened? And did it surprise you? Did declaring it to someone else other than people who were cheering you on in the group, did that surprise you? What stood out to you when you did that? What stood out to you when you did that? Okay, I see here, and I don't know who it is, so please put your name there. I made my declaration to my husband last night, and he loved it. He said, yes, I declared it to him again this morning. And he reminded me that I am an entrepreneur and I have made sales. How powerful is that to know that now in this environment, he is enrolled in your declaration and he's cheering you on. Now, some of you won't have that in your environment, and that's okay, because that's what God put me on the earth to do, is to grab your vision and hold it sometimes higher than you do sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Oh, Elizabeth, that was you. Great. Okay. Anita said, I told my son, and he was like, yes, mom. How cool is that? So over here, Susan said, I shared my Prime with my oldest daughter, and she cried as she listened. She said, I want that for you too, mom. Oh my gosh. Marcy says, I did it. And a dear friend was excited and shared she could see it too. See, here's the thing. We think it's selfish. This is the old way, right? I'm always over here when I'm in the old environment, the broken down environment. We think it's selfish to dream. We think it's selfish to have these big desires. Why aren't you just, happy with what you got? Right? We feel a little selfish, but yet when we declare it, and I hope a lot of you felt really loved up on in the chat yesterday, because we were in there cheering you on. But how cool is it that people in your own life were excited? It's saying they could see it and getting teary-eyed, right? And if you don't have that in your environment, here's what I want you to know. That's exactly why we've created our company. Because so many dreams live their last breath in the most rich place in the world, and that is a graveyard. So many graveyards are the most wealthy places in the world, not because of the people who are in them, but because of the dreams that went to die still inside of them. Anita says, but I started freaking out today because my business surpassed my goal yesterday. Can I handle all the clients? And here's what I want to tell you, Anita. That is amazing, and why you never want a lone wolf, because if you're lone wolfing it, what will you do? You'll pull back over that line. But we just got to train your brain to see more clients means more impact. So this is a training. We got to actually train your brain to a lot. All right, I made a commitment to you in my prayers this morning that I would really try my darndest to stay within 30 minutes. So here's what I would love for you to do. I would love for you to get a pen and paper, because we're going to go fast. I've got a lot to tell you today. And I believe if you listen and you apply it to yourself, that this day will be the day that you remember that changed everything. This day will be the day that that declaration starts taking root, and that root starts growing into a tree, and that tree starts producing fruit. And you'll be able to look back and say, you know what? It all started when I declared it in that group. And when I followed the 67-day year process, and I stopped lone wolfing it, and I finally linked arms with amazing high performing people that I no longer were in competition with, but now have like the best community surrounding me. On the days that I'm feeling great, they're cheering with me. It says in the scripture, celebrate with those who are celebrating. And it says weep with those who weep. We're not going to weep with you, but we're going to hear you and say, I know you're scared about all those new clients, but let's train your brain to not see that as fear. Let's eliminate that fear, right? Because here's the thing. Today, we're talking about how you create your own economy. How you create your own economy. So really quickly, I did like the Russian roulette of everybody who did their declarations. And so Elizabeth Nicholson, you have won $50 Amazon gift card. You just need to email in support@drshannonirvin.com. We're going to be doing that randomly. So if you did it yesterday, you're still going to win. There's in there. We're doing it at random. We've got something for you to do today as well. So play full out. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Because here's the thing. I know what your brain needs to even get over the hump. And sometimes when we gamify something, it helps. The number one platform right now for losing weight isn't all the other ones that you've heard of. It's the one that is paying people as a group crowdfunding to lose weight. Isn't that interesting? Why do you think that is? Because our brain saw it as a threat until we saw we could get some gain. Now the brain is focused on the gain and not on the loss. Isn't that intriguing? That's a little clue to how to train the brain to actually allow success. So congratulations, Elizabeth. And listen, VIPers, was yesterday just fire in here? So can I just tell you, in the VIP room, we had one person not know what to create a business around and left the call knowing exactly what to start her business around, exactly who to serve, and exactly how to get started in less than 30 minutes. What? And this is the power of fast decisions. And we're going to talk about that today. And sometimes we're too close to the blind spot, and we're also too close to the stuff. Here's the thing. Everybody in the room, when she was talking, could hear it. She just couldn't, because she was what? Too close to it. That's why you need a powerful room around you. And then we had another person on that VIP call that had, and this was me, so I totally got it, 20 or 30, how many? 50 ideas? 30, 40? She's got that creator artist mind, right? And so I can't wait till we get to the VIP so I hear what happened yesterday, because I'm sure it brought up some stuff, but she was able to find a process to take it from 20 to 10 down to 1. Powerful, fast decisions. Remember, this is the economy of speed. Learning that fast decision is powerful. So if you want to be in the VIP room today and get all the recordings, you just want to join VIP. And I know that Kathy will pop it into the group. You just go to drshannonirvin.com/VIP. It'll be the last time I offer, but you can continue to join throughout. All right. I have a question for you. I'm going to start out this section asking you a question. What creates transformation? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee, and I want you to write down what creates transformation. What creates transformation? How do you get from A to B? And how do you do that in 67 days? And we're going to talk about that today. Don't answer that question. I'll answer that one in a bit. But what creates transformation? I want to hear it from you, because here's the thing. This is the automation that's running right now for you, right? This is the belief. And so I want you to start to kick into what creates transformation. I'm seeing belief, I'm seeing action, I'm seeing renewing of your mind, right? What else in your mind? Like, I will transform when I fill in the blank. Commitment. Some of my people that have been in the community for a while, when they subconscious programming, I'm like, oh, love you, babe. Love you. But yeah, that's true. But it's simple. Like I said yesterday, here's the thing. The things that you're going to learn in this challenge, the things, if you go further with us in the 67-day year program, you're going to learn that it's simple things never taught. Let me say that again. It's simple things never taught. We think, oh, it's the science, it's subconscious, it's becoming, it's hard and heavy. Yes. What I discovered in those PhD rooms was, oh my gosh, it's so simple. It's so simple. But it's not taught, right? It's not taught. And action, belief, I'm seeing making decisions, building habits that lead to transformation, determination, awareness. All of these are really good. I love this one. I know my subconscious rules, but my reality, I can't take the action needed. Well, good news, because what we're breaking down today is going to help you clarify that action. We call it clarify, erase, and automate. We're going to clarify what you want, erase the things that you don't, and automate the declaration. I love David's in the community. So he's like, I know this. It's raising the bar. Belief and then actions create results. And that's part of the core of our neurocoaching, Sync neurocoaching model. Okay, so here's the thing I want to land on. Yesterday, and even right now, I'm giving you a lot of information. 100,000 new bits of information every single day. Speed. Your brain goes into overwhelm with that. So information does not transform you alone. Information becomes revelation. That's why I'm asking you the question, what landed, what shifted, what's different? What I'm asking you when I'm asking you those questions is, what landed deep inside so you can start moving, right? What landed deep inside. So information becomes revelation, and revelation through action becomes transformation. Right? Someone said the renewing of your mind, transformed by renewing, making your, so think about that word renew. This isn't complicated, right? Well, how do I renew coffee? Well, I take this cup and I put it in the microwave. I press a button and voila, it is made new. I know that sounds silly, but the process of transformation comes from making, it's the new strategy, isn't it, Shannon? It's chasing a new tactic, isn't it? It's getting in the right place, isn't it? Transformation happens by the renewing or making new your mind. Meaning, I'm going to choose what I allow in my subconscious, and I'm going to choose where my mind gets to believe that we're headed. Right? And in this way, here's the thing I want you to hear. Your alignments, write this down, your alignments, how you're aligning with your declaration, how you're aligning with the people that you're telling your story to, how you're aligning with the desires of your heart. The people that have come into your world through this training that you might have never known. It's possible you never knew me before, right? But all of a sudden there's an alignment. There's an alignment that says, wait a minute, I've done all these other things and it didn't work. What if this tool becomes a thing that makes it all work? So your alignment creates your assignment, right? It allows you to create your own economy. Why? Because you're not over here worried about fear. You're not over here, and I'm going to really resist to not go where my brain wants me to go, which is okay, I'm going to go here for a second. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I can't help it. Look, I don't care who's in office. Okay? I don't care what inflation does or does not do, Because if I focus on that, where I focus my energy, where I focus goes, energy flows, right? If I'm worried about what so-and-so is doing in the office, whether you're this side, that side, somewhere in the middle, does not matter, because I am sorry, the president is not going to save you. The inflation or whatever is going to be put in your bank account, I'm sorry, like, oh, I got to calm down a little bit. But guys, I have a PhD. Let me explain to you how much student loan debt I have. I don't want the $10,000 to be taken off my debt on the back of somebody who's working and making $30,000 a year. No thanks. That's not a political statement. Here's what it is. I create my own economy. No matter what's going on, no matter who's in the office, no matter what pandemic is happening, we're going to come out. By the way, the kids of this generation are going to come out in a different level of resiliency than we have, right? Because they've learned to adapt and move quick, right? Move quick, right? So here's the thing. Here's what I want you to write down. I create my own economy. And I'm on the soapbox a little bit this morning because I remember when I didn't think I created my own economy. I remember when I felt trapped. I remember the feeling of feeling like if someone else didn't recognize me and give me the promotion or give me this or give me that, then I would be trapped. Most entrepreneurs have the a trap avoidance syndrome. We hate being pinned down and even to a location or anything. So that feeling was like suffocation to me. And I want you to break the chains that my economy depends on someone else. Here's what I know that I know that I know. Looking back on history, from every recession, from every inflation, from every housing bubble, here's what I know. The people who do amazing, no matter what that is we see a problem that people have and we solve it. And we help them solve it faster. And we get them results. I create my own economy. TD Jakes, I was listening to TD Jakes when I went to sleep last night, which is an interesting listen if you're trying to sleep, because he's a pretty fired up kind of guy. But for whatever, it was for me. And he said, this is not that. This is not that. Doing more of what you have always done doesn't change anything. That's what I was talking about yesterday, about stepping over that line of I've never been here before and training our brain to say this is safe, right? What got you here will not get you there. I love that the comment in the chat was, oh my gosh, I went and did this declaration and this morning, think about that. I get so excited. 24 hours later, she is now gone from I want clients to can I handle clients? Here's what that shows you. We want something, we declare it, and we're going to get there. And we get there, and we've never been there before. And now our brain is going to need to do what? Train itself to know that that is okay. And then that's going to be okay. Barbara shared her story yesterday about deciding, taking 2 weeks to really make a decision I was pushing her to make. And then within that 2 weeks, she starts getting 1 client, 2 clients. Her declaration was, I'm going to have 10 clients at 10K. Within 4 weeks, she was a 6-figure business because of one thing we're talking about right here. Not doing what she's always done before, right? Not expecting different results, doing the same things. What got her here didn't get her here. That bridge was fast decision. And then staying committed to the declaration, even when there was 0. And then there was 1. And I remember when there was 1, she's like, I got a client. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I'm like, yeah. What does that show you? And she's like, that I can keep doing this. And then she got 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 4 weeks. That's not even 67 days. That's 30, right? That's 30. And so why does it speed up time? Wait, I set goals. It should take all this time. No, it takes that time because you're stuck in blind spots and patterns. That's the quicksand between you and the declaration, right? being weighed down by your blind spots. Those blind spots then become patterns. So I had a client, and this is one of the things that I feel so gifted to have a gift of, is in the room, I can spot people's blind spots very, very fast. That's why in VIP, I quickly could hear what was going on with the two of you that brought forward those questions, and we quickly were able to solve them. Not because I'm magical, but because it's the gift I have. You have your 1%, I have my 1%, right? So that's a gift I have. But when those blind spots don't get seen, and then we put that backpack on and we keep trying to walk forward, but the backpack is pulling us back, right? So we're feeling on a daytime, anybody feel like this? Like, I'm going forward, I'm going back, I'm going forward. Wait, I'm trying. And it feels like you're actually pushing something uphill, and then it boomerangs you back. Maybe not all the way back, but a little bit. As we keep repeating that, those blind spots become patterns. And I want to talk about those patterns before we break down the 67-day year method today, because here's the thing. I would be a horrible person to know that there's a way to eliminate patterns and to just give you the 67-day year, have you go get busy over here and then boomerang you back, right? And I remember a pattern that I got into, and maybe just possibly me sharing this will allow you to be honest about this. But man, I was in scarcity, the pattern of scarcity. Anybody else? By the way, we're deep diving on that tomorrow. So make sure you're here tomorrow. I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. So what that looked like for me was, the pattern was, I didn't see what I wanted to see in front of me. So I started looking at other people who were doing better than me. And I was not loving and excited and encouraging them. I was feeling, why not me? What's broken with me? Why do they have it and I don't? Why do they have it and I don't? And when we operate from that position of lack, that pattern of lack, guess what it does to our confidence? Tell me in the chat if you're looking through the lens or the glasses that if they have it, I don't, that there is less of it for me if you have more of it. Tell me what that does to your confidence in the room of other people. Does it help your confidence, or does your confidence drop to the basement as soon as you see someone else doing well? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat. Say if you, yeah, doubt comes in, it comes down, it comes into your face pie because you're looking at it as if there is nothing available for you if I succeed. You stop trusting others, and in that place, you stop trusting yourself and your own intuition. Your confidence tanks. That's the best way to say it, Beth. That is so good. And here's the thing. We start following people, trying to get the answer to why they're doing it, and I'm not, right? When we're doing it alone. So do you see how these patterns are stacking in your backpack that's starting to weigh you back this way? And here's what I want to dive into. Here's what I'm asking you to give me permission for today. Because like I said, at times you'll want to throw a shoe at me, but I'm going to help you clear the block that's holding you down. Now we're going to dive into 67-day year and talk about it as soon as we end this section, but I want you to play full out. May I ask you a question that has the ability to unhook you and unleash you from lack? If I have your permission, say yes. I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay, I'm getting lots of yeses. Getting lots of yeses. Getting lots of yeses. Okay, I'm just making sure. Making sure everything. Okay, good. It drops. Okay, good. I'm just making sure nothing else dropped. Okay, here's what I want to. Thank you for the permission, because this will help you have speed. Because the degree in which you are aligned with the patterns that stop you is the degree in which you will slow down. Let me say that again. The degree in which you are aligned, you're agreeing with, you're keeping, you're holding on to those stories and those patterns that might make you feel better in the moment, but at the end of the day are not pushing you towards your goals, the more you're actually being pulled back. So here's what I'm going to say with all the love in my heart. You can throw a shoe. I've got a tough head, but I know because I know it for myself. There are 20 areas at least that you have right now that are anchored to lack. Anchored to lack. What am I talking about? What about when you get discouraged? You know, God really put that on my heart today, that there are people on this call that have had a spirit of discouragement, that they're taking steps, but they feel discouraged. And if that's you, just put like a D in the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm meeting you where you are. But my heart was like, that this area of lack is just in this place of like, it's been so hard for so long. And I'm just feeling like, like discouraged. And that keeps you in the lack, because when I'm thinking of discouragement, I'm thinking of what I lack, what is not working. What about areas that you were let down? See, these are the areas where we don't look at it as lack, but we keep them in our backpack. What about in your business? What about with yourself? I remember there was a period of time that I would never let any of you down. In fact, I'd jump over fences to make sure my yes was a yes to you. I would never not do that. But my yes was not a yes to me. My yes was not a yes to me. And the area where I was letting myself down was myself. It was saying that actually my dreams, my goals, my visions, those things, me being a full cup that I pour out from was important. And so I was discouraged, and I was feeling like it's this small seed, you know, like any tree starts with a teeny tiny seed, and it's got to go in the ground for like a while, and you don't see anything happen. And then all of a sudden this tiny little green leaf pops up. And if you just give it the right nourishment, within a few months, it becomes a big tree that's producing fruit. But the fruit that it was producing for me was doubting myself, because my yes wasn't a yes to me. So here's what I want. You don't have to put them in the chat, but if you know that there's an area where you are let down, and that piece of discouragement, or that piece of feeling like the business let you down, or relationships let you down, or other people let you down, or even you've let yourself down, put let down in the chat. Because we don't think of this as lack. We think of money as lack. Money mindset as lack. And we're going to dive into that piece tomorrow, and how to move that money mindset completely within 30 minutes. So does that sound good to you? 30 minutes gone with the money mindset, actually shifting it, right? But we got to understand where lack is lurking, that we're still giving it permission. Because remember, your alignment creates your assignment. So if I'm aligning with being let down, if I'm aligning with being discouraged, if I'm aligning with being bitter, like, this is a training that most people don't actually talk about, but I want you to win. I want you to win. I want you to get these things out into the light, because here's what happens. The light is at the end of the tunnel. It's like one weed. When you pull that weed out, it starts to move you to a person who decides. Like yesterday, right? Like yesterday with Franny, right? With Franny yesterday, and with Camden, they were in the VIP room. They moved toward decision. And this fast decision making is at the core of training your brain. And what happens is sometimes we have too many choices, or we're not clear on the right path, or we go fast in the wrong areas, right? So I want to break down for you what the acronym of SPEED in our definition means. And now we're going to jump into the 67-day method, because this really is about getting momentum, right? And speed means we've got to go from standing still to gaining momentum to getting acceleration, right? So the acronym of SPEED, if you just write SPEED down, the S stands for success. It's a place that you're pointing to. It's the vision. It's the declaration that you're pointing to. The P stands for passion. What is that thing that lights you up, that gets you out of bed in the morning, that brings you to tears sometimes, as of yesterday, right? The first E is for excitement. Like, you're excited to help other people. You're excited to show up. You're excited to see this happen. the next E is excellence. Like creating speed through excellence, right? Through doing what you're doing at the level of excellence. And the D is for decision. And I always call it like fast decision. It's being able to take the thing that you want, the success that you want, the passion that you have, the excitement and the excellence, and create fast decisions that get you toward what you want. So my question to you today is, do you want that speed, that success, that passion, that excitement, that excellence, and those decisions so that you can collapse time? And if that's you, I want you to say speed in the chat, because we're going to go fast. It's 30 minutes now. I really am trying to go in the next 10 minutes. We're going to break down the first two big principles within the 67-day method. And this is going to start to blow your mind. All right, so here's what I want you to write down. I just want you to write a title that says 67-day method. And while I was studying for my PhD, I liked to hike. Do I have any hikers? Like anybody who loves to take long walks or likes to hike or likes to get outdoors, likes to feel like you're out in nature. So I was, neuroscience isn't light information. So I love to move my body just to help my brain try to process everything that was going on. And so I was learning these concepts about neuroplasticity, synaptic pruning, all the neurochemicals, like how do we go fast? Remember, I was solving the problem of my glass ceiling. If you were here yesterday, you heard that story. And I started noticing, when you start on a path on the mountain, that the mountain, when you're standing at it, this particular day I was hiking Mount Whitney. So I don't know if you know Mount Whitney, but it's a big one. It's like over 10,000 feet. So we're standing at the base of the mountain and I'm having all these thoughts like, gosh, am I crazy? Like maybe I should have done something smaller, like a 4,000 foot mountain. Maybe that would have been wiser. I'm having all these thoughts as I'm looking at this big mountain. And I'm wondering for you, like, have you ever been at the base of your dreams or at the base of your big vision, your big goals, and you're saying, I don't know, like maybe I should bite off something smaller first, right? And that got me thinking as I was walking up the mountain. So we start on the path and we have a guide. And it was funny because we started with another couple people and those couple people were like, no, we're doing it on our own. We're lone wolves. We're going to do it. We're crushing it. They're all kind of the kind of people. And so they were doing their thing and we're with the guide, and the guide is like taking us kind of what seemed like off path, but he's like, this is the easiest way to get to the summit. And I was like, okay. And I'm looking back and I'm watching the people that were at the start. They're like going up the face and they're like, I could hear them over there. Like they're sliding because it's kind of gravelly. And so we're over here and I'm noticing the boulders, and we stop for a second to take a drink. And I'm like, I was at the base of the mountain and it felt like huge. But now I'm sitting here and the mountain's just made up of a lot of boulders. And remember, this is coinciding at the same time as I'm learning all these neuroscience principles of success, right? Or at least that was my application. And then as we got up toward the top, so with my husband, this is really embarrassing to admit, but anybody else like super competitive, like crazy competitive? Like, okay. I am, and mostly internally, but I don't know, something with my husband, whatever. So we're almost to the top. And here's my observation is when we get to the top, it's no longer jagged. It's no longer boulders. It's actually kind of like smooth sand. I think from the elements or whatever, it just made it, the path was kind of easy toward the top, which really surprised me. Steep, but easy. Anyway, I kind of tricked him. I said, I'm going to take a picture. And I said, you guys stand down there. And I took a picture and then I ran to the top so I'd be there first. Okay, that's bad. But anyway, here's what dawned on me is part of the reason why I couldn't break through that glass ceiling was because I was trying to build the mountain. And my brain, now I know this, the brain, when it's looking at a mountain, has nothing to do but go into overwhelm. It goes into overwhelm, it shuts down. And any of those agreements over here in the old broken way is what gets used to stop you. So if you had principles of lack, then you stay in bitterness. If you have these feelings of not enoughness, that's been an automation, then that's what takes over, because your brain uses these automations to keep you right where you are, safe, alive, not getting out of bed, right? And so I started this 67-day method year, 67-day year method. And here's what I did. And this is what I want you to start with. First, I defined my mountain. What's the big thing? What is that big thing you're shooting for right now? Right? And there's a couple principles as you're thinking about that. I'm going to let you think about that for a second. There's a couple principles at work here. There's the principles of momentum, right? When we're standing at the bottom of the mountain, I was trying to downgrade my momentum into a smaller mountain, right? So there's a principle of momentum, which is a body at rest stays at rest, a body in motion stays in motion. You guys have heard that, right? What we're talking about here in the 67-day year method is the principle of acceleration. So this is an actual principle. And the principle of acceleration, most people haven't heard of. They've heard of momentum, and we talk about momentum, right? But the principle of acceleration is once an object is moving, it only stops with force. In other words, I don't want momentum. I want acceleration. I want the principles of acceleration. And when we're standing in a mountain, and what are we told? Dream big, do all these big things. Okay, yes, and. This is a yes, and. So the method starts with, what is your mountain? We've got to define that first, or we cannot get you into acceleration. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write in the chat, and some of you might be thinking, oh, I don't know what my big dream is. Well, if you did know, what is the thing when you put your head on the pillow that you're going, gosh, I really want that thing? And it might not be a business. It might be something in your health. It might be in your relationships, right? What is that mountain that if you conquered it, dang, it'd be amazing, right? So take a minute, and I want you to write in the chat, what is that big mountain that you're going for right now? What is that big mountain that you're going for right now? And I'm going to take a drink while you're writing that down. And whoever just wrote membership group, mastermind, and speaker, I want to know who you are. And also online cooking school. How awesome is that? I would go. Be a stage speaker, inspiring others to move out of their stories they have created for themselves. High five. To immigrate to New Zealand. I love that. To remove self-doubt. Getting over my self-sabotage so I can better provide for myself and my family. These are the mountains. 100K months, right? Tia? Good 100K months. I want those 100K months. Beth is like, I want my 7-figure real estate sales coaching business. That's my mountain. That's what I want. Franny wants her 7-figure income. Anita wants to reach children in 50 countries with kingdom empowerment message. I love that. Priscilla said she wrote that about membership, self-development company. So I want to make sure you've written it down. My mountain is this. Write that down. My mountain is this. If you can create an image with your mountain, shared this yesterday. That is not real. That is my head on top of Beth Moore's body in a stadium of over 500,000. Okay. So if you can get a visual of your mountain, even better. I'm not going to have you sit and visualize it though. We're going to do something differently. To go big, to conquer your mountains, we got to go micro. We got to go micro. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm seeing all of them flying in, right? I'm seeing all of them flying in. So the next piece, now that you know your mountain, just like when I was hiking up and I was taking my water break and looking at those boulders, that's what got me really researching the idea of micro in the brain. Remember, we're trying to train our brain to actually allow success. So no one is teaching you about 67-day years, and no one is teaching you about micro habits, but the brain needs that. So what I want you to define is 2 or 3 boulders. Like if I'm going to accomplish this stage of 500,000 or more, what are some of the things that I would need to do or create to make that possible, right? To make that possible. So for example, if I wanted to get on this is a real example. So when I wanted to get on my first stage with about 500 people in the room, one of the things I needed to do is to be known for what we talk about now. So I wanted to start a podcast. That was one of my boulders. Another one of my boulders was I need to grow an audience that will listen to me and that I can serve. Right? So I want you to take a couple minutes and I want you to write down what's a couple. Now there's probably a lot, but what are one or two boulders? Yeah, boulders. Like if you think about the smaller boulders that you see on a path, what are 1, 2, or 3 things that if you accomplish those things, it would make getting to the top of your mountain either so much easier or might even eliminate some of the boulders down the road, right? So I would like to think of them as a domino. Like, what are the dominoes that need to fall for the mountain, for you to get to the top of the mountain? So what are some of those boulders for you? So let's take a couple minutes and write down. And again, that's why we're walking alongside you in the 67-day year program. We're going to talk about that more over the next couple days. But here's what's missing as you're thinking about your boulders. What's missing is we do something similar to this, right? All the things we need to do in the beginning of the year, these big things. And then our brain goes into overwhelm and no one's walking alongside of us, making sure that we're nailing just the micro steps. And then all of a sudden we get into overwhelm and then we do exactly what I was talking about at that mountain. We start to say, maybe I should go to a smaller mountain. I don't want you to ever go to a smaller mountain. I want you to define the boulders and let us take those boulders and create a map to get you to it. We're gonna do that map tomorrow. That's why the mountain and the boulders, what's the big dream and what are some of the smaller things that if you accomplish them is going to make all the rest either so much easier or you don't even necessarily need to do it. Right? So what are some of those boulders? Is it going live? Is it you want a deeper relationship in your marriage? So is it like we need to go on date night once a week, right? What are some of the boulders that will not put your mind in overwhelm, right? Not put your mind in overwhelm, and it will allow you to see one dimension of what you need to do and go all in on that one thing. So I'd love to see in the chat, what are some of the boulders or some of the smaller pieces that you know that if you accomplish that, it's going to make the mountain be a lot easier to conquer. Getting 1 to 2 clients, Franny says. Beth says, podcast, YouTube channel, simple marketing system to get the word out, right? So these are boulders. These are great examples of boulders. Being consistent, growing an audience. So even within that growing an audience, we would kind of move more into asking you some questions about, well, what does that mean? Where do you want to do it? Oh, okay, I want to do it here. Okay, growing an audience through what channel? Where? Priscilla says, create space for membership, right? So literally creating space. Software system for clients to log in is a boulder. Finding clients. And then I would just challenge you, if you write down something general like grow my audience, find clients, I'm going to ask you, find clients where? Grow an audience where? So that you start to define for yourself a choice of where. We've got to make those fast decisions, right? Anita says, create my own online vocal lesson. That's a boulder for her big vision, right? Valerie says, being in daily conversation, having visuals for a group experience, right? So she's got daily conversations as a boulder and group experience for a boulder. Really, really good. Okay, awesome. Through Facebook and IC. So I think you guys are getting it. The big 2 pieces of the 67-day year method is starting to define your mountain first and then breaking down your boulders. And it's really like, what are some of those smaller actions that once you've done them, makes conquering that mountain so much easier. So for me, one of mine was the podcast. Now, of course, there's steps, right, underneath that. And tomorrow we're going to show you how to map those things out so that your brain never goes into overwhelm and that you make progress every single day. Tell me in the chat how, I would love to know if you knew exactly what to do every single day, how fast do you think you would accomplish your goals? Tell me in the chat. If you knew every single day, without a doubt, these are the things I need to do, and those things will have me accomplish the things that I want, and that will get me to my mountain, how much faster would you get there knowing exactly what to do? See, your intuition is there. And using the 67-day year method, you're taking two pieces that are really, really important. You're training your brain to allow the success, and you're showing your mind a path to get there. The old broken method is I'm going to write down everything I want, and I'm going to wish and hope that I can make it happen. And I don't know what steps to go to, so I buy a lot of courses, and then I try to do it alone, and I'm trying to get it done, but I get stuck and I don't know what to do, and I pause. Why? Because not because you're not smart, but because you were never taught how to go micro. So I'm seeing 1 month at least 10 times faster. Yeah, super, super fast. I love it. I love it. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Now, tomorrow, now you know a couple of the big pieces of the 67-day year method. The question that's probably floating in your mind is, okay, how does this go fast? How do we get it in 67 days? Like, I get it, Shannon. I can see my big mountain. I can see the boulders. But what makes this move in 67 days versus a year or 2 or 3? And so that mapping that out and specifically giving you that map so that you know this is what my mountain is, this is what my boulders or my smaller things are, and this is the exact steps I need to take each day to make it happen. That's what we're going to dive into tomorrow. So you don't want to miss tomorrow. We're also going to level the playing field on any of the lack issues around scarcity and money mindset. And we're going to talk about how this map is the key to making it go fast. Now, a lot of people ask me, okay, Shannon, what's the significance of 67? I talked about it yesterday a little bit, but the significance of 67 is from a brain science perspective. That's how long it actually takes for your mind to create a network toward belief. So as you're building the map that we're going to talk about tomorrow, you're also building belief at the same time. You're training your brain to actually allow success one day and one step at a time. And while we're doing that, we are not stopping with the idea of the principle of momentum. We're continuing the motion through acceleration. And the only thing that can stop that from, you know how if you ever seen a boulder roll down a hill or a snowball roll down the hill, it starts kind of slow, but then as it continues to go, it gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Why? Not because of momentum, but because of acceleration. In fact, that thing would keep going until it hits up against a force. And so what we want to do is bulletproof your accomplishment that way. So I don't want you to miss tomorrow's, because we're going to learn exactly how to break down that map to create it in 67 days. How does it go fast? And we're going to eliminate the one big, I call it the elephant in the room. And that is our issues and our stories around money that boomerang us back. So we're going to really dive into eliminating scarcity deficits. And when you eliminate scarcity deficits, guess what increases massively? Your confidence. It's really getting access to all of you, all your abilities, all your potential, all your vision, all your calling. That's what we're going to dive deep into tomorrow. Tomorrow we walk out the door with the actual 67-day year map for you. So here's what I want you to do tonight. I want to see in the group, we're going to pick a few winners tonight. I want you to go in, and again, you can go live. I love that, by the way. Or you can, on a piece of paper, I want you to write your big mountain and a couple of the boulders that you know are going to move that mountain. What's your mountain? What are a few of the boulders that you know will move that mountain? And everyone who does it, I'm going to be in the group actually asking you some more questions to have you go deeper with it, right? I'm going to do that tonight. That's what I've got my whole night set aside to do. So get in there, go live. I'm going to challenge you to go live. I listened to every single one of your lives yesterday. So awesome. You can write it on a piece of paper. And then again, to go even bigger, I want you to challenge yourself to tell somebody, just like we did yesterday, because what we're trying to do is train your brain to see all of this is safe and familiar. And when you've trained your mind to know that the thing you want most in the world is safe and familiar, and you believe it, as we talked about yesterday, once your brain believes it, that's how you'll see it. Okay, thank you for playing full out today. You guys were amazing. I am excited for tomorrow as you get to see how this mountain and this rocks start to use acceleration to create that 67-day year. So thrilled for you. I adore you. I love you. I'm for you. I believe in you. Borrow my belief until you have it completely for yourself. Until then, make sure you're back here at 12 o'clock. Pray that the tech gremlins are out of our email and you only get a replay email today. That's my prayer. And until then, I will see you tomorrow, same exact time, 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to break down that entire 67-day year map and eliminate the scarcity so you can catapult that confidence and keep that acceleration going. You're amazing. I adore you. I'll see you tomorrow. VIPers, stay on and we'll go deep. And if you want to jump into VIP, now's the time. All right, see you later. Bye.